So, since the release of The Flash, it appears the cracks are starting to show at DC Studios, which is such a shame because us DC fans have wanted there to be a separation from Warner Bros. Pictures and DC being produced by Warner Bros. Pictures, and actually them having their own studio that is just concentrating on DC stuff. But as James Gunn got too much control over at DC Studios, sure, I know David Zaslav is his boss and can literally change anything and tell him to do anything he wants because that's his boss. So although James Gunn says there's no studio interference, if Zaslav wanted something to happen, it could happen. And then David Zaslav has to answer to investors because that's how you get budgets for movies, etc. But DC is in such a worrying state, even more so now when we look at what is happening. Warner Bros. Discovery negotiating $500 million deal to sell film and TV publishing assets. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you have you on new or only. Make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse-based content that I cover on a daily basis. What is different from this channel to other channels is you're actually going to get my opinion. You know, my actual opinion. My actual opinion. That's unprecedented on YouTube. That was a joke. So if you could check us out on Instagram, I wish you to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And check us out on Twitter. Wish you G right. So let's break it down. James Gunn is the co-head of DC Studios, and David Zaslav is in charge. He's the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery. They both said that the Flash movie is the greatest thing ever. David Zaslav said he watched it 5 times. I think the marketing of the Flash and the way DC Studios approached it has shown us some major flaws. Now, I'm still looking forward to seeing what is going to happen with Superman Legacy and Batman Brave and the Bold, but there is a lot of inconsistencies if you ask me. So, the problem with the old regime was the studio, Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, etc., got involved with essentially the person who was in charge of DCEU vision. They didn't change his vision. They made him make changes that he necessarily wouldn't have done himself. So it's very uncommon for a head of a studio to not only direct a movie, but to produce a movie and to write the movie. He's literally doing everything for Superman Legacy, including the lighting, including the sound. He's doing everything. So he needs to start acting more like a professional. I still think he's acting like a director. He needs to understand he's not a director anymore. He's a head of a studio. Now, let's compare him to your boy Kevin Feige, who, you know, worked in the industry for years, was an EP, and he's not necessarily, he oversees a lot of stuff. Sure, he gets involved in storylines and plots because they've got an overall story of where they're going. But he's not directing stuff. He's not writing the script. He has input. So I hope to see James Gunn transition into the role of a studio head. Because at the moment, the boy is acting like a director. And having too much creative control is a bad thing. Now, I know what you're going to say, test screenings, etc. But look at the test screenings for the Flash movie. Now, I think the Flash movie is good, but it's tested the best since The Dark Knight. And then you can say the Rotten Tomatoes score, the Metacritic score does not matter, but it matters to the studio. Saying it test screened as good as The Dark Knight. And then you look at how it compares with critics, and studios care about what the critics say. There's a reason why the real review score comes after the reaction, because every critic will get their little name on that little billboard and that little trailer and feel special for a whole 5 seconds. Studios care about scores. So, the best movie ever. And then it's like, okay, I get it. He's the head of DC Studios. But what does that say about his vision? It doesn't say an awful lot, in my opinion, because he's acting like a director. So, let me get this straight. Robert Downey Jr. was 43 years old when he became Iron Man. Henry Cavill is currently 40 as of May, but he's too old to be Superman. And then you look at the casting list. allegedly, Nicholas Hoult, David Korsnick, etc. Sure, they are younger than Henry Cavill. I give you that one. But from everything we know about this Superman and this new universe, Superman has already been introduced to some of the members of the Justice League. He's already established on Earth. So does he need to be young? No. A cool story, bro. If that is the case, why are you making everyone who is casted look exactly like Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve? James Gunn can keep saying that there is no superhero fatigue. It's just creative failure, generic storylines. Look at who is the alleged villain, Brainiac. It is looking like a carbon copy of what Snyder was trying to do. Oh my God, he's a Snyder bro. No, I'm not a Snyder bro. But if you want to go there, look at the box office numbers. Look at the box office numbers up to Suicide Squad. Then you look at the most recent ones. Shazam 2, Fallout. Black Adam should get more praise because Black Adam was coming back from an already damaged kind of universe, and to get just under $400 million, that was due to The Rock, not the studio. The Rock, with $7 Productions, made that movie. So I think James Gunn was so hasty in getting rid of Black Adam. What? Because Black Adam, The Rock, was too old. Cool story, bro. So he comes in and fires Henry Cavill for literally no reason, using this multiversal storyline in this Elseworld universe, because we know the Batman 2 is going to do well. We know the next Joker movie is going to do well. But we don't know what the Superman movie is going to do, to the point where I see some posts on Twitter where it's almost like the DC fans are going to be accepting such a lower quality movie. Superman Legacy will not hit $1 billion. It will not gross 800. And some people were even saying it won't even make 400 because the DCEU has done so much damage. It can't be saved. So let me get it straight. You're going to spend a bunch of money, which Warner Bros. Discovery doesn't really have any money, or else they wouldn't be selling off assets to the highest bidder. And then when you look into what it actually said in the article posted by Variety, it says, whilst it's unclear exactly which assets are on the table, one source says that the rights to slightly less than half of the catalogue, with the price of around $500 million. They spent $350 million. Well, they probably spent close to $500 million on the Flashpoint marketing. And you're selling off half your assets for $500 million. I get it. Warner Bros. Discovery is in debt of $48 billion. Is $500 million going to do anything? Are likely to go on a major label? While Sony's said to be in the lead, the catalogue is believed to include music from such films as Purple Rain, Sweeney Todd, several Batman films, and many more titles, as well as songs included in such films as Time Goes By from Casablanca. Iconic titles, to be sure, but again, it is unclear exactly what rights are on the table. Top attorney is said to be overseeing the deal for Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav. However, some observers cast a skeptical eye on the deal, saying that many of the company assets are more than half a century old and are declining in value and difficult to exploit. They are said to be considered largely of the film's themes and cues. So basically, everything is on the table for sale. And no, that does not mean Netflix can license out the Snyderverse and make Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 and the Batfleck movie with Joe Manganiello and Deathstroke. No, but it is really worrying that you're just about to make a brand new universe with James Gunn, with Pete Safran, two very talented guys. I met Pete Safran at the Shazam UK premiere. I had like a 5-10 minute conversation with him. Such a cool guy. You can tell he's got a passion for DC. Sure, but it's very bad when Warner Bros. Discovery, that owns DC Studios, is planning to sell a lot of stuff off and is basically saying, we're going to do anything for money. We'll sell anything for money. Obviously, they're not going to sell the DC character rights. Sure, they're not going to do that. But this is very worrying because where is the money coming from? They're not making any money. They're losing money on every project. Blue Beetle is going to lose money. And I got a comment on Twitter the other day going, oh, is that because it's a Latino superhero? What are you even on about, bro? What are you even on about? I've literally been to Mexico, Cancun 5 times. I love Mexico. Nothing to do with that. It's just the character is not well known. It's not marketable because Warner Bros. Do not know what they're doing, respectfully. Or at least it looks to me like they don't know what they're doing. And then we look at what else James Gunn's doing. So he's kept the cast of all his own projects. The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, even the movies that bombed. I know what you're going to say. It came out during... Cool story, bro. So did Godzilla vs. Kong Day and Day release. And that did just under $500 million. And then you go ahead and announce a brand new universe and basically isolating Shazam 2, Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman 2 and Blue Beetle. And then you have the audacity to be like, yeah, but Blue Beetle's actually part of the DCEU. No, it's not. The character might be, but the movie was made under the old regime when Walter Hamada was still there. So you can sugarcoat this movie as much as you want, but what they should have done is tax write Aquaman 2 off and Blue Beetle, and reportedly they've spent over $1 billion on this year's movies when, if you look at all the reports, test screen is going very bad for Aquaman 2. Blue Beetle does sound like it's a good movie based on plot leaks and basically everything I've read. It sounds like a pretty cool plot if the acting, if the execution is there. I'm just questioning what the hell is James Gunn doing? And then you're going to hire, and this comes out the day after The Flash comes out in the UK. Andy Muschietti is very good at horror movies. I think he did a pretty decent job at the Flash movie, but to come out and be like, yeah, he's directing the next movie. So he's already got a movie that's going to flop, irrespective, it's not going to break even. Reportedly going to make $20 million this weekend in America. In the second weekend, which would be something like a 70 to 80% drop. I still don't think there is a superhero fatigue. I still don't think there is a fatigue in that market. And then this story comes out saying, I mean, I don't believe it, it's nonsense, but we might as well go over it. So I've been saying this a bunch of times. It says Batman was going to have an underwater scene in Aquaman 2 and Batfleck even trained for months. James Gunn decided to cut all these scenes out of the movie. Yes, apparently Ben Affleck had a really important role in the last act of Aquaman. And actually, I can somewhat validate that part of this. He did have a pretty important part right at the end of the movie. I was going to wear the Atlantean suit to be able to resist attacks from the adversaries. In the last act of Aquaman, Batfleck was going to fight underwater against one of the villains with everything and the Batmobile showing that this vehicle was super ambitious or something like that. James Gunn ordered Ben removed from the film and now another character will appear. Now, if this is true, this is another weird one because that was actually causing some hype. There was some chatter about Aquaman 2. Everything so far leading up to this, it wasn't good for Aquaman 2. It was a train wreck. It's interesting how Batgirl gets cancelled and canned for tax write-off. And then you read what's the plot for Aquaman 2 and you're thinking, okay, Batgirl movie seemed a little bit better with the fight and Batgirl getting set on fire, Firefly and Batgirl having a crazy fight. To me, Batgirl sounded like a better movie. But what do I know? I just read things online and talk on a microphone on the Shure SM7B. Yeah, I'm just questioning what the freaking hell was James Gunn doing. I still think it was the wrong decision to get rid of Henry Cavill in the manner they did it because they could have used him in an Elseworld storyline later down the road or in a multiverse storyline. And from everything we understand, if this new universe fails and flops and doesn't make any money, apparently there is a backup plan at the studio. I don't know if that means at Warner Bros. Discovery, probably does. Apparently there is a backup plan if James Gunn universe flop. I think James Gunn is coming in thinking he's a top G, but realistically, he's a director that doesn't know how to act like a studio head, even though he was basically being trained up to be Kevin Feige's replacement. And he's trying to do it with DC, and I really hope it works. It's just, from everything he's said publicly and how he's talking about it, how he's doing daily updates, it's almost like he's going to take you on set every day when they start filming. Because like, yes, we're really close to hiring Superman. Cool story, bro. Before we get to Comic-Con. Because if you don't, everything at Comic-Con will already be out there from some YouTube channel like me. So keep everything secret. The funny thing when he debunks stuff is he confirms other stuff. So like always, guys, don't take this video too serious. I'm just questioning what the freaking hell's going on. Is this plan actually going to go anywhere? I don't know. Are we even going to get to Batman Brave and the Bold? I guess the Superman movie would tell us more. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at What'sDue to see the beautiful face behind the voice. Check us out on Twitter, What'sDue, and I'll catch you in another video. Catch you later.